Harry Lippman and I just got done talking on CNN about how Donald Trump is going to pit federal judges against one another, all in an effort to just avoid trial. Delay, delay, delay. And now he's utilizing judges. But frankly, he's not going to get away with it because prosecutors and judges alike know what he's doing and know what he's up to. Anyone who practices knows exactly what's happening because he doesn't want to go to trial. But let's talk a little bit about what the reporting is, what the reporting from CNN is, that he is absolutely trying to use his Mar-a-Lago documents case as a way to create a no-win situation for Judge Chutkan, right? So she's the one, Tanya Chutkan, overseeing the Washington, D.C. Jan 6 case. And how is he doing that? Well, okay, let's just look at the calendar together. He's got March coming up. He's got the Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg case that people didn't think was going because March 4th was the day he was originally going to go to trial in the Washington, D.C. Jan 6 case. But that case didn't go, obviously, because we're still waiting to hear whether the Supreme Court is going to stay that case, which means press pause on it, whether that's what Donald Trump is asking, right? He's asking them. He went there because this is the issue of presidential immunity. He went to the Supreme Court after the D.C. Circuit unanimously ruled that he was not immune from prosecution. And he's asking the Supreme Court for a stay, meaning let's argue this presidential immunity case in the Supreme Court. It's a really important issue. And in the meantime, I want you to press pause on the trial. And the Supreme Court is deciding whether to press pause on that trial, whether to and do a stay, or whether they're going to take the case altogether. So it's a lot going on while that case is on hold. And meanwhile, Judge Cannon has her case still on the docket for May for May of this year. It's still showing up on her docket as if there's going to be a trial. Nobody who practices in any kind of serious way actually thinks that that case is going in May. There's just no way. She is allowing Donald Trump to basically make all kinds of arguments that other judges would not allow. And in the meantime, she's also taking her time in ruling on these arguments. And by doing all of that, there's just no way that you can fit all that in and go to trial in May. But she's not taking it off the calendar because she wants to clog up the calendar or the queue, I should say, about when other cases could go. But I don't think anyone's taking that seriously. She can make mischief, however, if she postpones it to July or June, to midsummer, because what that would do is that would actually make it so that if the Supreme Court rules the way everybody believes they're going to rule, which is that Donald Trump is not immune, then what's going to happen? Tanya Chutkan is going to have to pick a date for trial. Now, she can't do March and April because they're going to be tied up in the Manhattan DA case. He's going to be on trial. And in criminal cases, a defendant not only has an absolute right to be present at a criminal trial, he's actually required. So they can't overlap in any way. They have to go one after the other. And if the Manhattan DA case starts in March, which everybody thinks it's going to, then when could Tanya Chutkan put her case on the calendar? So she likely would do June or July. But if that calendar is clogged by Judge Cannon, then she will not be able to utilize those dates. And what will happen? You get to July, and all of a sudden, Judge Cannon says, "Oops, well, there's some other reason that we're not going to start," and it would go too close into the presidential election. And next thing you know, he is not held accountable, and there is no trial before November. So that's what they are saying. That's what the reporting is that there is this effort on Donald Trump to try to utilize these federal cases really utilize Judge Cannon, who he appointed. She certainly seems sympathetic to Donald Trump and not in any rush to hold him accountable before any election. And but we'll see. We'll see what happens. This Friday, there's going to be rulings in several of his cases, including the Mar-a-Lago case. And so let's see what she rules and how she makes some decisions that are still outstanding. Donald Trump made, I think, 7, if I'm counting accurately, 7 motions last week. And again, why did he wait so long to make motions there? Why didn't he just do one big motion? Why did he do 7 separate motions? That's just going to give her more time to say, oh, well, I have to make 7 decisions, or I'll make a few, but not the rest. And while we wait, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Judges typically talk to one another. And so hopefully Judge Merchan and Judge Chutkan are talking behind the scenes to coordinate scheduling. And even hopefully Judge Chutkan and Judge Cannon are speaking behind the scenes, but we'll never know, because this is all what happens in secret. And this is what the judges will do to try and coordinate and schedule things together, because this isn't the first time a criminal defendant has had more than one case on. Any other criminal defendant who had 4 open indictments, both in state and federal court, typically those judges would all coordinate with one another, as would the prosecutors, to say, okay, how long is your case? Which one should go first? Do you have any timing issues? Do you have any witness issues? Is there anything, usually it's an accommodation, what people do to try make sure that nobody you don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to screw up someone else's case. If somebody has a witness issue, that a witness is leaving town or is reluctant in some way, or what have you, then, or if one case is more serious than another, sometimes they'll have that one go first. There's many reasons why prosecutors and judges would try and coordinate. And frankly, in cases like this, right, he's got these 4 open cases, but they're all serious. They're all felonies, but many would argue that the Manhattan DA case is the least serious of them all. I guess it's hard to rank crimes, but I guess, yes, if you're looking at trying to steal an election and essentially disenfranchise millions of voters by stealing an election and then causing a riot and an insurrection on January 6th, that's pretty serious. Is that more serious than our nation's most classified, closely held secret information being tossed around and shown to people and left in an unsecure place and then refusing to give it back? I'd say that's pretty serious too. Hard to rank those. And then, of course, Fani Willis in the January 6th case is just as serious as the Washington, D.C. case, except that it's really focused on Georgia. So I would say, since it's really only focused on one state, it's probably slightly less serious. And of course, in that context is you trying to also steal an election by suppressing information from the voters? Is that also is that slightly less serious? I think it is. But I don't think anyone should think that's not a serious case. It is, as my friend Norm Eisen says, the gateway drug of stealing an election. That's when he dipped his toe in the water and tried it the first time. And of course, let's not forget that he has been found by a jury in New York in a civil case, but he was found nonetheless to be a rapist. And there were other people who testified in that trial, other women who testified that he also sexually assaulted them. So you've got a serial rapist who in any other context, if you had a serial rapist who had 4 open indictments in both state and federal court, not only and access to his own private plane to flee any jurisdiction, flee the jurisdiction and not face accountability, any other defendant would be incarcerated and would be facing all of these cases. Instead, somehow he's running for president. So that's what's going on. I don't think that federal judges will allow themselves or to, I don't think anyone, I don't think the prosecutors or the judges will allow Donald Trump's games, his gamemanship, and will allow this to happen. But it all depends on the Supreme Court, and it depends on the Supreme Court ruling in time to actually try the case. So let's hope they rule soon. Let's hope the case gets sent back down to Judge Chutkan. She can set a date in June, perhaps, and that trial will go. So that's what hopefully will happen, but we're waiting on the Supreme Court. I'm Karen Friedman Agnifilo with Legal AF. Join me and my co-hosts every Wednesday and Saturday.
Hey, Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.